I see it's 2:30 right now, so we are live right now. Great, great. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome also to the third episode of STOKR Meet the Founder. Today, we have some very special guests with us from ArtID and Kreston RS. We have with us Luca Vablais, the Chief Knowledge Officer of ArtID.
Hi, Arnab.
I saw that there was audio behind me, so I closed it. So we have with us Cesare Suglia from Kreston RS. He's the managing partner of Kreston RS. Luca will, thanks. Hi, Cesare. Luca will do a bit of introduction about what ArtID is and what problem does it solve and what is the business model. And also will answer questions that you ask about the offering, the STO offering. And Cesare will help us to understand what the ArtID is offering to the investors, why the instrument that ArtID is actually selling right now in the STO is interesting, and how it distinguishes from other financial products. Welcome to both of you to the panel.
Thanks, Arnab.
Now, we have been working, actually, the entire STOKR team has been working on this offering for quite some months now with both Luca and Cesare. And it has been a fascinating experience understanding your business model, what ArtID is doing, and how you have progressed during these months. I still remember this project we came to know during this COVID scenario. And despite the fact that Italy was in lockdown and Luca and Cesare, you both were in Italy at that point of time. And still, as a company, you made a lot of progress, Luca. There were some recent partnerships that you announced. It was fascinating to see that. Regarding the STO, ArtID started the private offering some time back. On this Monday, ArtID opened the public offering for many European countries. During this webinar, please feel free to ask any questions that you have. You can write on the Zoom chat. If you're watching us from the YouTube, please feel free to write the questions, and my colleague Gabriella will take over the questions, and myself will take over the questions after the end of the one-to-one questions with Luca and Cesare. First, I would like to start with Luca and ask you a few questions. So the first question for you, Luca, can you please introduce yourself and about your business and what you're doing in simple sense?
Okay, well, thanks, Arnab, and everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank who is here with us today and showing interest in ArtID and what we are doing. I do really appreciate it. So let's start. I'm Luca Vablais. I'm the CKO of ArtID, and I'm working for this project since the very beginning, a few years ago. Actually, I worked with Stefano Vablais, that is the CEO and founder of ArtID as well. That, if you're wondering, we are sharing the same surname, so he's my father. We were working together even before the ArtID project as advisors. He has a long history and background as an advisor. He started to work in a bank, and after that he has always worked as an advisor. One of his main accomplishments was in the 90s during the internet revolution, about the stock exchange listing, Freedomland. Why I'm saying that, because I always hear from him saying that what was happening in the 90s with the internet revolution and what is happening now with the blockchain. It will be a matter of time, but actually, if you talk to anyone that is within the field, you will hear that the blockchain will be pervasive in every business, in every market in the next few years. So that's something that we see from experience that is happening as in the 90s happened. So how the ArtID project started? It all started with an insight from Stefano. He has a background in the art market as well as an advisor. He worked about a decade in the market, so he actually got to know everything about the market. He had to deal with every entities that work in within the market, so with artists, collector, archives, foundation, art dealers, and so on. So I got to know really well from all different points of view or views, all the issues that characterize this market. So from that knowledge of the art market, we actually have been introduced to the blockchain a few years ago. Especially here, we are based in Lugano. It was something that generated much enthusiasm and can be avoided. So we actually got introduced to the blockchain. We are near the the so-called crypto valley in Zugo. So it's actually in Switzerland is really much energy put into blockchain project. So we are living and breathing it here. So a few years ago about the blockchain, it was not so clear how it can be used as a tool. The things that was clear is that is its future that makes information to be able to make information immutable. So from one side it was the Stefano experience about the art market and its issues, and from the other side there was this new technological tool that is the blockchain that showed already the potential to solve all these issues of the art market that actually are the lack of transparency, low liquidity, price manipulation, and so on. So it actually the blockchain seems to be like the perfect solution for many issues that accompany the art market since 3 centuries, because the art market is one of the few markets that has been impervious to technological advancement. It's like it's the same since about 300 years. So a change is something that many are waiting.
Yes, I think that's very interesting, Luca, because we have seen, I think, 2019, 18, quite some reports about how the art industry is being used by money laundering, money washing and those kind of stuffs. And to avoid AML KYC, a lot of people have used the art industry, right? So it will be very interesting to understand is what is the business model of ArtID and how you really operate. Like at the end of the day, because you're a business, right? So you're definitely giving this idea of transparency to the art industry, but you also have a business model. It will be good if you can explain that a bit.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the basic idea is to give a solution to make order into the art market. We are an end-to-end support. We offer end-to-end support to the art market. We have a complete integrating system that covers everything from the moment the artist finish to create the artwork, from the moment it is sold. Of course, the main issues of the art market is the lack of transparency. Everything has always been managed with paper documents that can be tampered with, can be lost, can wear and tear, and so on. And one of the main concept in the art market is the provenance. So all the information that tells the history of an art. That's what gives value to an artwork. To an artwork without documentation can actually be lose till 100% of its value. Can be worth nothing. So yes, there are many gray areas in the art market. It's one of the market that has been associated with money laundering and many bad stuff. But what we are focusing on actually is on the other side, on the artist, on the collector, on the good part and the pleasant part of it, and to be able to offer an environment and a solution that can let people just enjoy what they love most, and actually resolve many issues that they usually have to face when having to do with artworks buying and selling. For example, an artist put his all his efforts, all his time, all his energies in creating an artwork, in creating a piece of art that is something personal, that is something that is a strenuous procedure. And so it can happen that there are people that make bad copies of that work, devaluing the artist's value, reselling them not for the market price, but for far lower, so ruining also the reputation of the artist. So that are the main issues. But getting back to RTD, what we do, it all starts with the RTD digital certification. That is the building block. I could actually share a slide, share my screen, and show you a slide because sometimes a QR code can be wording more than 1,000 words. So here is an example of a digital certificate. What is the digital certificate? Digital certificate is just a set of all the complete documentation of an app. So everything that can be related to an app. So images, authentication, documents related to exhibition where the artwork has been shown, and articles and whatever can be attached to an artwork. So the digital certificate is the core of RTD. Is the building block on which all other services are built on, and actually is the possibility to digitalize all the documentation and make it immutable. So once the digital certificate has been issued, ideally at the moment the artist finished to create his work, it creates a solid point of reference from that moment on that can be updated in time with new information, but that remain as a reference and a comparison basically forever, because all the documentation is signed on blockchain, so it can be changed anymore. So this already solved the problem of paper-based documentation, so can't be lost. It can be tampered with because the information cannot be changed in any way, and is easily shareable. Here is in the screen, you can see the QR code. You can actually play with it. If you have your mobile phone, here you can actually, open the camera of your device and point it to the QR code. You can actually see everything about.
So I can scan it, right? So I can right now scan it as we
scan
speak.
it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can actually open the camera and it should point you to a link that open a page with all the information about the artwork. You can actually see every picture, everything. And it binds the documentation in indissoluble way to the artwork. So you can actually attach the QR code behind the artwork. So it's physically attached to the artwork. So that's the building block. That's the main. That's the core of RTD. And once the artwork has this, what can call a superpower, you can actually access all other RTD services. So I can actually go on here because in this presentation I have it all. So once the artwork has the digital certificate, you can access the artificial intelligence services. Actually, this is in development. Is in the late testing phase. It will actually be live, I guess, at the beginning of September after the summer. And this is something that is the single thing that generates most enthusiasm. We got more question about in general, because this is something that for those that are in the art market is really an high value, because it will come out in two steps. The first step is that you can actually take a picture of an artwork that is already provided with a digital certificate. It will just compare it with the image within the digital certificate and give out a match. So you can actually say, yes, that is the one that is certified on blockchain. And that's already some big deal. The second part, it will be able to learn and to learn from all information, all artworks that will be certified in time, to be able to recognize a specific feature of a single author and recognize it. So it will be able in time, you can just take a picture of an artwork, it doesn't have to have the digital certificate. It will be able to recognize that that artwork is of, for example, a Giovanni Cherry artworks like the one behind me. So this is the artificial intelligence. You can get access to this with the digital certificate. So being an artist or a collector. The second part is the second service that can be accessed with the digital certificate is the artist archive. It's just a reference, a public archive of an artist. So it is populated with all the artworks that are of the author, of that artist that are certified. So being certified by the artist itself or third party is the same. The public archive you can find on the website artid.ch will be populated with all these artworks. So it will be like a permanent exhibition. It shows transparency because we share all the documentation. And these are references for the collectors. For example, if you are likely, or if you want to buy a specific artist work, you can actually have this as a reference. Just search on Google, you will get to the public archive on ARTID, and you can actually see the documentation, see that if the one that you are going to buy is that one, and so on. So this is the second part. The third part, and the big part, is the marketplace. So it's the environment, it's the tools, it's the place where artworks can be bought and sold. So that has three key features that are the exclusive presence of artworks provided with the digital certificate. So it's a safe environment with artworks that have already been validated. So it's a safe environment for collectors to purchase. And the second feature is a payment system that is the ArtID payment token. That allows with one transaction to pay everything, so commission to RTD, the seller, taxes, and logistics as well. Indeed, the third key feature is the integrated logistics, because we have a partnership with a Swiss operator specialized in the transport of artworks. So these are the main feature of the RTD platform. I guess I lost myself. I don't know if what you asked.
Yes, I think one question, like, how do you make money? Like, you are servicing one side the artists,
okay, so
who are doing, yes, and one side is the buyer, right? How you're making money?
Yeah, sure. That's something significant part of it. So we are actually the money comes in from the digital certification. So and the update of the digital certificates. As I told you before, we actually can see from the numbers that digital certificate gets updated like 3 to 4 times a year. So every time the digital certificate is updated, it has a cost, the same cost as acquiring the digital certificate in the first place.
And when do you update it? Like, what incidents makes you update those digital certificates?
Actually, it gets to be updated if there is some more, new information, valuable information that can be added.
Like a new buyer or something like that, right?
It can be, yeah, everything. It can be because the artworks have been exhibited in some big exhibition, so you might want to reference that and add that to the, to the documentation. It can be a transaction. It has been sold, it has been bought, so you can actually put a reference about that, the price that has been sold, and so on. So when something significant happened to an artwork, you can actually add it to the digital certificate. This, of course, this doesn't replace what is already within the digital certificate, and all the previous versions of the certificate are always available to keep track of how it built up in time.
And how do you make money on the marketplace?
Okay,
do you charge a commission or something?
Yeah, we charge a fee of 15% on all transactions that happens within the marketplace that are charged to the seller. So actually, the seller sells to 100 and get. So that's the other part where money is coming in. The third part that fuel both the digital certificate and the marketplace revenues are the white label service that we offer. We actually have given the service in the white label form to a couple of partners. So they use it to give to sell the digital certification service to their clients under their brand, powered by RTD. And they can actually even give the possibility to their clients to publish their artworks for selling on the marketplace. So it actually fuel both the revenue streams. That's the general idea.
Now, coming to this, I think like one important question that may come after this very logically is you have two players in your market, right, on ArtID place. One is the art makers or the art creators, the artists, and the other one is the buyers, right? And also the buyers can be collectors, they can be individual, they can be asset managers, however you structure in the buyers category. So the question is how do you help them? So what are the benefits that derive? So what are the benefits that artists derive coming to ArtID and certifying their artworks? And what the benefits the buyers or the art managers or the asset managers, they derive by buying it from the ArtID marketplace? If you can elaborate that, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. These are definitely the two most significant roles that are the artists and the collectors. So yeah, about the artists, both artists and collectors usually lives with the need to watch the back. I mean, the artists need to. The artists can have many issues. For example, we have an artist that has his artworks, her artworks certified with us. She participated in one of our events at the Museo del Novecento in Milan, and she just brought in a testimonial. She got a person who called her, who told her that about one of her artwork in New York, and asking her for an authentication. So he was asking her to authenticate the artwork. A piece of the artist say, "This is my artwork. I did it." The artwork was not made by her. So she told him, "No, I can't do that because this is not one of my artwork. Why they are selling with my name in New York?" So that's something that could be avoided. First, there is the buyer on the other side about a piece of art without proper documentation. So that's something that's normal. It's not something that happens 100 times. It's something usual. Or there is always something that is missing. There's a piece, not the other. So having the possibility to create the digital certificate once the artwork is made all the difference, because this artist now creates a digital certificate every time. So there's no more guessing. If it's some of my artwork, they have the digital certificate, they have the QR code, they have my authentication. If not, they are not mine. So you can be sure that you have to look for that if you want to buy one of my art. And furthermore, as I already told you, the artist's work is really personal. It's a personal message. It's something they put themselves in, how they look at life, how they are. So it's something personal, and it's quite bad to see something like that to be stolen. It's not like you stole my phone. You stole something that is a bit part of me. So they suffer that. They suffer that. And they are really happy to have a tool that can allow them to avoid the situation. So on one side there is the artist. We can help them this way. On the other side there is the buyer. The buyer that always have the doubt that what is buying is not what is meant to be. We can actually solve these issues as well, because, for example, in the marketplace, all artworks are already validated. We do not. That's a significant part I'd like to explain here. I don't know if it's the right time, but anyway, I'm going to do it. We do not authenticate artwork. We don't say this is good, this is bad. What we do, we validate the documentation. So if the artist requests the digital certificate with a statement coming from there that say this is my artwork, for us is okay. If a third party, a collector, that can we can have collector managing their collection as well through the digital certificate. If a collector requests a digital certificate saying, hey, I have an authentication of the artist, of a third party, of an authority that say that this is good, or this is an artwork of this artist, we just call them. All the artists, or we call the authority, the archive, the foundation, saying that, hey, we have this, is that good? Usually have a reference number of the archive that has been issued and so on. So we do not authenticate anything, we just validate documentation this way. So we can actually do the work for the collector. That's the work that the collector usually does. Okay, so all the due diligence, we take care of it. We give to the collectors just a place with everything that is already fine, and they can actually not have any doubts about the genuinity of what is presented to them.
And also, I have one question over here, because this can be also quite relevant for a lot of asset managers, is can I pay you, ArtID, to delete the data of the artworks from a database? Is it possible that you delete the data from the database and everything on the artwork is gone?
No, that's actually not possible. That's actually not possible. It's put on blockchain, it's signed on blockchain. No, that's not something that we can do.
Even if you want it, right? I think that's the beauty of it, right? That's the
that's the beauty of it, because of course there is the need of some kind of control over the procedure somehow. We can avoid that, but yeah, sometimes when documentation is on the blockchain and the artwork is certified, the documentation is there and it's good for forever.
Great. Thanks for explaining this part. I think one interesting thing also, like this is from also like I came across with few companies last year also doing this ArtID verifications in Europe. There was some, I think, in China, in US also there were a lot of companies. So I would say there's some market players that are doing some similar digital verification of artworks. What makes ArtID different from these competitors? That will be very interesting to know.
Okay. So the first things that differentiate us is the blockchain, of course. But if we narrow it down to those who use the blockchain somehow to the art market, or that apply blockchain to the art market, there are many companies that do something similar to what we do, but usually they do just a part of what we do, just a little part of what we do. Or something that seems to be similar, but it's nothing to do with us at all. So I will share some example here. For example, there is a popular company in London that is called Verisart. They actually sign and print on blockchain an artwork transaction. So you actually sell you an artwork or buy an artwork, you can go to them and they are going to sign on blockchain the artwork title, author, and value and date. So that's what they do. Is something that can actually be integrated in the digital certificate, because you can actually add to the digital certificate the link to the Etherscan transaction or the blockchain transaction of Verisart. So there's something that can be added to the digital certificate, and there's nothing to do with the documentation. So it's just is a reference of a transaction. Another competitor of us that actually is not it's not much a competitor, because they actually do the tokenization of artworks. So you can actually through them buy a part of a Picasso, for an example, along with other 100 people. And that's something we do not believe in, and there's nothing to do with us, because it generated more issues than it solves. So actually the artworks, yeah, it's owned by me, by you, and by Cesare, but who has it in his house, who has it on the wall, who can take advantage of looking at it, who decided that we need to sell or not the artwork. So that's something different we do. There are some competitors that do more similar thing to what they do, like the certification process, but they actually charge an monthly ticket, monthly subscription for certifying. So, and they do not take care of logistic of marketplace or selling, so they just do the certification part. What else? Nothing. We got much question about as competitors for galleries and for art dealers. That's not something we do. We actually are the opposite. We complement them. They can sell the certification service. They can actually look eventually at our artist database to see if there are artists that they would like to work with. So we can actually help each other there. Even if it's counterintuitive, or some galleries or dealers see us as competitors, we are not competitors to those entities. That's a general idea. So there's, as far as we know, there's no one that is doing what we do, or that take care of everything that we take care of. Including the things that we are developing right now, that is the artificial intelligence service, and so on. So that's it.
No, I think it pretty much is clear now. So like, it's a very interesting approach, and I think that really can help the community as a large, because you're taking the end-to-end support for a lot of artists who does not necessarily, want to manage all the logistics, calling this transport agent, managing the insurance. So I think there's definitely a value add, which we also found quite interesting when we spoke to a few artists from our network. Now, coming to the offering, I think this is something what you explained is regarding the business, what you're doing, fascinating journey, what you had in the last couple of years. And the best part is this father-family relationship and how you leverage it to a very professional business. And that's very interesting also. And that's very fascinating for us also, for STOKR. Now, coming to the offering is you are raising right now on a very unique way. It's a security token offering your financial rights of your company via digital securities. So what made you think like why you are right now raising money through a security token offering? What makes you believe that you want to raise the money, and what is the requirement?
Actually, we are raising money to be sure to scale the business fast and quick, because actually we are generating revenue. We can actually live by ourselves. But with some funding, we will be able to really expand the business to make our services known and to scale the business. So we are raising funds to basically create new partnership, like the one we just closed with Alidem at the beginning of June, where we actually have purchased from them some of their artist photos. And so they do for the photos, for photographs what we do with art in general. We have made a partnership with them, so we are able to already have about 1,000 artwork piece of art to be added in the marketplace in the next couple of weeks. So what we need to do right now, what we are aiming for, to involve artists. We have an ongoing campaign to select artists, and to which we are going to give many advantages. We are going to give the archive, the public archive, for free in exchange to their effort, because certificating the artworks requires some effort. So you have to get it all together. You have to upload on the site. You have to spend some time. You have to understand how it all works. So we know that it requires efforts, and we are willing to do our part to help them as well. So we are going to, what we want to do is to get to 1,000 artists on the ArtID marketplace by 1 year, and to get to 100,000 artworks for selling in the marketplace. So
and how much you have currently? How much artworks currently you have?
Actually, we got to about 3,000 artworks and about almost 200 artists on the marketplace. But what we want to do, that's 1,000 artists and 100,000 artworks are not numbers that just, just to say something. We've made an analysis. We know that if we can get there, at that point, we can get to have a momentum when the business can grow by itself, and we can actually create a market for ArtID.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I lost myself here.
No, I think you answered the question. Like you perfectly answered the question, is why you're making the fundraising right now. Now I will come to the one very interesting question, and this question I think we faced number of times in our Telegram channel, also in the last webinar. It's regarding, you have two different kind of blockchain-based tokens, right? ArtID issued a blockchain-based utility token, ArtID they call it. It's on Ethereum blockchain, and it's a utility payment token, right? Yeah. And now on STOKR, you are launching an ArtID security token, and there are differences. These two tokens are completely different, and if you can explain how they're different, that will be great, because I think there are a lot of questions from the audience also that we found in the last couple of days.
Yeah, sure. We got that question already. Yeah, there are two different, as you said, there are two different tokens. One is the ArtID token. That is a utility payment token. It is not meant to be an investment tool. It's just meant to be a payment method for the ArtID services. So it's used just on the platform to purchase the certification, to purchase artworks, and so on. So it's just a payment method. It's used as a currency to pay. The ARTIDS is the security token. It's not a payment token. Is a participative tool that gives rights to share the revenue and the profit of the company. So it's a different tool. And this is the object of the security token offering. So that's the difference.
So it's a financial tool, the later one that you're issuing, and the first one is just for one purpose, right? And that's also fixed price that is there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. But I'm sure Cesare will be able to explain better than me.
Yes, I will come to Cesare. Before, I would like to ask the second last question from you is, what is the roadmap? Because you're raising right now 5 million, 4 million in the private, 1 million, below 1 million in the public round. So what is the roadmap? Where do you want to spend the money, and where do you see the companies growing in next 12 months?
Okay, I can actually again share my screen here with the roadmap that I have here. This actually is one of the documents that can be found on the STOKR website. Just, here. Now I need to load. Okay, so here is the roadmap. So actually, you can see the first part is Q3 of this ongoing year. So the STO that is ongoing till Monday. New partnership white label actually is we got the Element partnership. We closed the partnership on the beginning of June. We got those artworks and archives numbers here in June, and we are going to go through the process of selecting artists. So we are of an ongoing campaign to make artists know about ArtID. We are going to create a contest so that all our community can get involved in what ArtID does, can vote an artist. So both collector artists and people interested in art can participate. And we are going to do this to select a few artists for future exhibition. We have already one exhibition in planned for November in Amsterdam, I guess I have here, the ArtID Archive Amsterdam 2020. Actually, the curator of this exhibition is one of our artists, Zoran Tosic. This is got involved in RTD, is enthusiastic about it, and it actually helping us make an exhibition in Amsterdam. So for this first exhibition, we actually selected ourselves. We talked with the artists we have in the community, and we selected them. But we are going to create a contest to select them for other exhibition, for a web TV plan that will start on September. That will have about one show a week where one of our artists will be a guest, so we will be able to talk about what he's doing, how we do it, about himself. So we have the artificial intelligence service going to be developed and live in September. And so on. So as you can see here, the 100,000, the 1,000 artists goal, we expect to reach it at the end of the second quarter of 2021. So in a year right now. This is a calculation made on what is going on right now. So it's just if we keep going what we are doing, we are going to get there. But we can, of course, speed it up with the funding. So that's actually the main things that we are going to. That's the roadmap. Mm-hmm. We are going to build the artists. We are going to build the marketplace. We are going to promote RTD globally. We have a plan, a specific plan already scheduled, already defined to promote RTD globally through many kind of platforms. So starting from social media, we already, investigated China social media. That they do not use the same media that we use in Europe. So social media, the participation in the major art fairs, the exhibition, promotion on the local media, and so on.
So you have a hectic year this 2020, right? Despite the fact that COVID is there, and so it's quite full.
Yeah, the COVID actually gave a big push to the digitalization. So it actually made people, force people to approach the digital world. So that actually, of course, it created a lot of issues, of problems and everything, but it actually speeded up the digitalization process very much, and it's something that we could be used for too. For example, galleries that has just physical, physical offices or are just physical and local could have taken advantage of a digital platform to show what they do and to sell their artworks.
Perfect.
Just that.
Sounds good. Last question for you, Luca, is do you see that artists or the customers on your platform will be interested to buy your security tokens? And do you think this tool can create a community around your product?
Yeah, actually, this is already happened. We share with them what we are doing. We are just not keeping it for us. We have many artists and people who support us since the beginning. So we have artists that actually invested through the STOKR platform with the RTD payment token that can be used to buy the security token, or with Ethereum or with crypto. We have shared it with them, and we got a bit of response from them as well, because they believe in what we are doing. We involve them as much as possible in what we are doing, and we ask them what we can do for them to make RTD even better. So we really value their help about this and their needs. So we share with them.
Sounds good, and sounds fascinating that your community is also very much interested in the rights that you're providing. And saying about rights, I think, Cesare, we would like to have you in the talk now. what made you actually interested in ArtID? And I still remember when you reached out to me regarding this project, you were quite fascinated about what they're doing and how their business is growing. So what made you very much interested about ArtID, and what do you see are the main strengths if you're coming from the financial back side?
Thanks for the question, Arnab. First of all, I joined MGA before Kreston RS. I worked in IT sector for a long time, focusing on networking, cryptography, digital signature, blockchain. So I know very well the technology, and I always liked the beauty. So I was exciting to see that ArtID matched these two things: beauty, artists, workcraft, and technology. I believe that the use of blockchain in this specific segment bring a lot of advantage to artists and collector. As Luca explained, they can be sure to exchange workcraft using the portal, the marketplace, even if they never met before, with insurance that when they buy a special workcraft is fully compliant on what they saw on the platform, and until they will not receive at home, they will not deliver to the artist the payment token, the ArtID payment token that the collector already paid, until they will be able to check that the aircraft is completely compliant on what they saw and what they want to buy. So this is the reason why I just was very enthusiastic to start to collaborate with ArtID.
Perfect. And Cesare, you are also the investment advisor to ArtID and really structured the instrument that they're issuing for the investors in the security token offering round. So what are the rights? Can you please explain also the rights that the investors are getting by buying these ArtID security tokens? If you can explain a bit, that would be helpful.
Yeah, sure. The security token is just a digital representation of a private contract between investor and the entrepreneur and the venture. So actually the venture says to the investor, I will need your help to launch my activity and achieve the goal of my business plan. And I'm ready to share with you the result of what I'm going to do using your support, your financial support. So actually, the buyer of the security token will gain the right to participate of the revenue generated by ArtID in the future, spending the money like Luca showed before. So acquiring new artists, marketing the portal, and attract a new buyer and new collectors. So it's exciting for an investor to be capable to have the right to participate to the revenue and not to be part of the future income or future profit, because it will be easy to understand and to check how much will be produced by the entrepreneur and the venture. Is the revenue is the first line of the profit and loss. So it's simple to check. And the venture, just to be more attractive for investor, we say even if in the first year I will not be able to generate a very attractive amount of revenue because I need to advertise, to perform communication campaigns to attract new artists, to populate my marketplace before that I will increase so much my revenue. They granted to the investor a minimum return equal to 2.5% of the money spent to buy tokens. In addition, they leave to the investor the right to resell back, so a sort of put option, the token acquired during the STO of the same price that they bought now, receiving the payment in ArtID payment token, so that they can immediately exchange what they invest in security token in Warcraft, for example. I can go to the portal and see a picture that I really like. I just put 1,000 euro on STO, and I say, wow, I saw a picture that I really want to have on my wall at home, so I can exchange my investment in a Warcraft. So it's a media exchange of money with beauty attached to my wall in my house. Or they can even ask to the entrepreneurs, so Luca Vablais and ArtID, to receive payment token and exchange the payment token in fiat, or on the web of the ArtID, or on exchange if the value will be higher. The last right that the venture will grant to the investor is the capacity to participate to the entrepreneur's future decision that will take any effect of the right of the STO. It means that if the ArtID in the future will decide to perform any modification of the benefit that they granted now to the STO owner, they cannot do without collect all the investor, presented to them what they want to do, and receive and perform a voting process in which the majority of the token owner will agree with the future modification proposed by the ArtID entrepreneurs.
Perfect. So what you're saying is that the ArtID is sharing direct gross revenue with the investors. Revenue is very much clear to understand. It's not like a profit that will come somewhere after 15, 20 years. What you also don't know what is profit, because you can put the entire money in R&D, right? So there may be 20 years, there is no profit. So that's very interesting. And I think that that's one of the key aspects of the instrument. The second, I think there's a, and we also discussed from STOKR, we have already issued in the past few revenue sharing tokens with the investors. And one question is very relevant and very common from them is to ask is, hey, look, you're sharing a fixed percentage of the revenues with the investors. You're not putting that money in the business. So is it losing the opportunity that those money could have gone to the business to redevelop, refinance the business and generate revenue? Instead of doing that, you're paying us. So is it something, do you think it's a loss of revenue somewhere when you pay back the investors on a monthly or on a yearly basis?
Honestly, the business plan of the venture cannot be boosted without receiving the financial resource coming from the STO. So in principle, they can, you can say they are wasting some part of the revenue because they are sharing part of the money, the future money generated by the revenue with the investor. But it is a sort to reward the early investors. So the venture says, I need financial resource to advertise my ideas, my web portal, and to do that, I'm performing an STO, and I will reward the investor, the early investor now, with a future percentage for a long time, because the STO has a lifetime of 89 years. So it's a very big commitment of ArtID towards the investor. You will be part of my success for all the future of my company. So it's not a wasting of revenue. It's sort of be generous with people that will allow them to boost their future revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Consider,
yes, I think it's...
Excuse me?
No, please go ahead.
Consider that the company is going to be capable to generate a 21% of EBITDA. So is the margin before amortization. So as a big number, starting for the end of 2021. So at the end of not this year, but the next year. So if they will not have to pay the royalty to the STO owner, they will boost the EBITDA of the same amount, so 10%. But again, that EBITDA will not be exist so big if they will not have the financial resources to develop their business. So I suppose that they will remain very profitable as a company, because 21% is a very big figure for EBITDA. Even give the royalty of 10% to the investor now.
Yeah, I think that's quite an interesting number.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Coming to the advantages, like what do you see, like if you like, because you're also dealing with a lot of this kind of investments for quite some years now, if you think the top 3 advantages that the investors will have with the ArtID token, what do you think? What comes to your mind immediately?
Oh, I told you excuse me, can you repeat the question?
Like the top 3 advantages for the investors. So what are the advantages for the investors? What is the benefit they're getting?
I told you the big benefit is just to be connected with the future profit, future revenue of the company, not the profit. So the first line of the profit and loss, not profit and loss, for the income statement. So very simple to check. They will be engaged directly with the company because they put in place some special event to allow STO owner to endorse the ARTIDS, to help them to be more visible, to be visible on web TV and stuff like that. So it's a sort to be not only an investor, but part of the business with the entrepreneur. And the other main benefit is that people that can buy STO now can immediately exchange in WordCraft on a portal, changing in ArtID payment token and pay for any WordCraft on the portal, or ask to exchange in fiat directly to the ArtID company with a fixed rate of 30 cents each payment token, or exchanging on a exchange like Bitfinex or token or what else where the ArtID should be tradable.
Now, I think there's a very logical question comes is how you buy an ArtID security token, right? And this is something, Cesare, if you want to start, and then I can quickly support, because that's, I think, the STOKR's main competence is a technical support. So please.
Sure. To buy that security token, first of all, the potential investor have to be log on a STOKR platform and perform the KYC procedure. So they have to be verified by you for be allowed to buy the security token and transfer the money to obtain the STO. They can do using crypto value if they already have a wallet, or they can use their actually bank account to transfer the money following the instruction that will receive directly by the team of STOKR. You already have on your website some tutorial that can show them how to open an Ethereum wallet such as MetaMask, and the process is very similar to open a new conto deposito, a new a new bank account for having a financial instrument on the bank account. We do the same stuff using the blockchain technology and the new wallet offered by MetaMask.
Perfect. And I am also sharing my screen if everybody can see that regarding the ArtID STO page. Here you can, after you register, you just log in with your credentials. Once you're logged in, you can pay, as Cesare mentioned, you can pay with cryptocurrencies as well as with euro. So this is the page. It is at certain terms. As Cesare mentioned, you can also see all the terms in a brief facts, but we also recommend to read the entire offering document and offering terms. And then you click to the invest button. You are directly being sent to the payment gateway where you can do the payment. The entire payment process takes maximum of 5 minutes. If it's crypto, it takes some time because of the Ether gas fee and those things. Euro, it's a matter of seconds. And you can see all the payment mode over here in which you can pay. So it's a very simple. And then once you are done, you can go to a dashboard and you can see what kind of tokens you have bought. So that makes things quite simple and easy to manage. And if you have any questions also during the investment process, please feel free to drop an email at support, SUPPORT, @STOKR, STOKR.io. We will be happy to answer within a few hours. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions. I think that's very interesting insights. Thanks a lot, Cesare, for sharing all these inputs. And I think one interesting question also, like I did not see that many questions coming right now on the YouTube, but I think one question that comes on top of my head, and for both Luca and Cesare, it is like this kind of revenue participation tokens can be a very interesting tool to create a community for the business, right? How much do you feel that is very important? Because community, is it so much important, or do you want to only target the investors? So how do you see the community creation through this kind of STO is relevant? Both from financial and business side. So feel free.
Luca, I suppose you can share some idea that you told to me about Facebook and community and events. You can better explain, I suppose.
Yeah, I can go on with it. So actually, yeah, what we were saying, Arnab, through the security token to the profit sharing, we actually will be able to involve quite much our community. One because we have already have people who have invested on STOKR, being the public offering minimum 15 euros. But with the profit sharing, we actually can involve them in what we are doing. We can get them to be a part of what we are doing. We can have them have interest in making what we are doing better. Okay, so to participate and to develop the community and so on. We are not just targeting investors. We are targeting also people. We would like to have people who are interested and passionate about the art market. They can be involved and they can help us. They can follow us and support us and create a community and help us create the best possible environment along with all we do, not just for clients, but in general for the art market. I don't know if I have answered your question this way.
No, I think it definitely answers. Cesare, do you have anything to add there? Cesare, you are muted. If you can switch on, that'd be great. Perfect. Thanks.
I really think that is something quite new. You cannot be not only an investor, so just put some money on a company that you believe is going to perform better than now when you invest in the company. But just you can be part of the life of the company. You can have interaction with artists, with entrepreneurs. So it's something that can be something new. Respect just only perform a part of the corporate bond or acquisition of stocks or stuff like that.
Perfect. Okay, so I think we are at the end of this presentation and the webinar. Thanks to both of you for sharing these things. But I have a last question towards Luca. is what do you see the ARTID's impact will be for the entire industry, and where do you see the ARTID will be in the next couple of years?
Well, the potential of what we are doing, we're getting many feedback from artists and from collectors and from the art market entities about the value of what we are doing. Those who live and breathe art are really aware that what we are trying to do, the digital certificate, the IE, the archive, those are game changers for the ARTID, for the art market. So the point here is that we can get it to the point where the digital certificate becomes a standard. So we can actually develop the business till that point. That is kind of ambitious, but at that point we can imagine a world where the artist can just focus on doing what is good to do and doing their their magic somehow to get the things together like they do, where collectors can be sure, can just enjoy the pleasure of purchasing a piece of art and enjoy it every day in their houses without having any doubt about it not being what is meant to be. Actually, in the next couple of years, I guess we can get there. At that point, I can imagine an art market, a world where a bit better of it is today. So if you like, if you want to help us to do so, to make this change, you can actually invest in ArtID through the STO that is live now. I guess there will be a link on the chat for the STOKR platform. So
there's already there a link. Yeah.
We of course would really appreciate it, and that's it. The potential is out of question. I invite you all, if you know anyone who is in the art market, to ask them about what we were talking today. You'll see that it's something that will make their eyes get open. So perfect. I guess that's it. So we are at the end. I guess we can close it here. So
we are at the end. I would like to thank all the audience and the viewers who are listening to us. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop us an email, or please feel free to also drop a comment on the YouTube description if you're watching on the YouTube. And please also check the ArtID page. If you have any questions, you can also put a comment on that page. Saying that, thanks for joining us and listening us in this webinar. Thanks also Luca and Cesare for joining us, and thank to our very talented Emma, who is helping us from the technical background. Thanks for also supporting us in the process. See you for the next Meet the Founder, and have a great weekend to all of you.
Thank you all.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.